Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel Stolen Souls. Whether you believe in demon possessions or not, it is indisputable that they are a strange occurrence that has existed for a very long time and has been encountered by people from almost every culture. It was previously impossible in the annals of time to record these alleged treasures, but the advancement of modern technology has made it possible. Think about these possible cases of demonic possession, and then let me know if you think evil spirits can actually take over human bodies. Number 10. The televised possession. A real exorcism was shown live on television in the early 1990s. The exorcism was broadcast live on ABC's 20/20 newscast. It told the tale of Gina, a 16-year-old Florida resident from Wellington who spent time in and out of psychiatric facilities as a result of seeing demons. Early on, it becomes clear that Gina's purported demons won't leave her alone. She is first physically restrained by the priests. She is surrounded by individuals who firmly believe that if they let her go, she will levitate. Gina seems to become even more irate as a result of this harsh treatment. She can then discuss her situation more logically after a short while. She alleges that 10 evil demons alternately possess her each day. She gave the names Zion and Minga to two of the monsters she described. If Zio was one of the 10, it was never made clear. Her possessiveness intensifies as soon as she mentions their names. Even though she is a small country girl, she has a frightening presence, so the priests continued with the exorcism. While they pray, she reads prophecies of impending conflict and disaster. One priest said he felt the combined power of good and evil fighting it out in the supernatural world. The spiritual intervention had continued for a shockingly long time, but it had finally come to an end. Gina stated in an interview that she was much better now more than 2 months after this episode aired. We will never know if Gina's transformation was permanent or what happened to her in the years that followed because the story was never continued. In other words, it might look like a real exorcism at first, but it's also possible that the news program is using a disturbed child and her family for ratings purposes. There is no way to know for sure whether or not demons were involved in this case or whether a very pious group was duped by their own blind beliefs because Gina may not be acting, but the priests are convinced that she is possessed. Number 9. The Chosen One. This video of an exorcism shows that people who experience demonic possession are not just Christians. The entire congregation starts to pray for the allegedly possessed woman as one rabbi, who is obviously concerned, kneels in front of her. The rabbi addresses the congregation after casting a longing glance in her direction. At his command, the group forms a circle around the possessed woman and starts chanting together. They hear a low rumble at first, but as the woman thrashes frantically in front of them, it quickly grows to a deafening roar. As the camera pans back, we see a sizable group of rabbis assembling here to perform the exorcism. It's obvious that whatever is going on inside her is powerful because there are so many reverends present. The religious chanting increases in speed as the woman screams in pain. The woman is shaken by the rabbis as they shout at her for the demons to depart from her body. It appears that the group exorcism was successful as of right now. They frequently halt to see if the devil has finally abandoned her and to check on her. They keep shouting even though they can see that it isn't effective. Despite being restrained, the woman still seems to be in a full-blown delirium. Although the video ends before we can see whether the exorcism was successful, it is obvious that at least some of the crowd is relieved when it does. Number 8. Sleep haunting. Online video producer Dale Pendlebury is having terrible sleep problems and is seeking explanations. He thinks that poor sleep quality, rather than a lack of sleep, is the problem. He makes it a point to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, but he still feels worn out when he first wakes up in the morning. He decides to record himself sleeping on camera in order to get answers. He wasn't aware that he was actually taking a recording of his own property. Dale does not have to work to skip tedious repetitions because his camera simply records when it detects sound or motion. At the start of the recording, everything seems normal, but after the first night, he starts to notice some pretty strange occurrences. On his own bed by the third night, he is being violently tossed around by something. Even more strange noises appear the following night, and at one point he even sits bolt upright and looks directly into the camera. His eyes seem to be wide open, but he doesn't appear to be feeling anything. Dale collapses into his bed and stops speaking. Finally, Dale acts in this manner on the very last night. This video's veracity is under debate. You can see that the majority of people think his video is sincere by reading through the comments on it. How do you guys feel? Please share with me in the section below. Number 7. TJ goes insane. YouTuber Adam Park and his friends are playing Call of Duty nonstop when, at 3 in the morning, they are suddenly startled by some extremely loud noises. The only other occupant of the house is TJ, Adam's roommate, so it is probably coming from his area. Adam grabs his phone and starts recording after noticing something strange going on. Adam flings open the door and scans the hallway. He can hear these noises. As soon as they hear the commotion, all 4 of Adam's friends quickly retreat to his bedroom. Everyone pitches in to help their friend after one of them makes contact with law enforcement, but when they bravely make their way back to the hall, they find that TJ has long since given up on life. Of all the videos on this list, I must admit that this one seems to be the easiest to fake. It wouldn't take much effort to create the impression that your acquaintance was possessed. All you'd need to do is have him or her run around the house frantically and add some ominous sound effects. In fact, it appears that everyone in the video is genuinely frightened. These men all don't seem to be actors, in contrast to the actors in most hoax videos, who all have at least one obvious flaw. Their frequent transitions between fear and nervousness appear to reflect their true feelings. I don't know what happened after they stopped filming, if this is for real. Number 6, a horrifying possession. In this clip, we get to see a particularly shocking part of the girl's ordeal. The level of despair, the girl's rage, and the general gore are just too much for regular people to handle. This movie clip, which is based on a real-life possession, only heightens the tension.
Around.
We are the ones who dwell within.
Number 5, a video footage. Thanks to some seriously terrifying manipulations that were allegedly caught on camera on which movies were made, footage of paranormal activities has been keeping audiences on the edge for years. One particularly frightful incident is this video of the teenager Jessie, who discovers she has some special abilities, but they all warp and transform into pure evil. But the most terrifying character in the series appears in the first film, when unfortunate Katie is bitten by a nasty demon and hell breaks loose, so much so that many viewers of the film complained of feeling nauseous. Number 4, Bob Larson. This is the name of a so-called exorcist who makes house calls to people across the nation in an effort to drive away their evil spirits. One of the many videos available shows the Reverend in action here. This woman claims that since her sister began praying to a devil after their mother passed away, Satan has been tormenting her non-stop. She flits between swearing and speaking in tongues at random. Although Bob Larson's exorcism starts out in a humorous way, things quickly turn serious. During a subsequent exorcism, Bob Larson encounters a devil who is more interested in making fun of him than in actually resisting. With a firm voice, he commands the spirit to leave as he places a hand on the woman's forehead. As the exorcism goes on, the alleged demon appears to be losing strength and eventually gives up and leaves the woman's body. A changed woman hugs the exorcist tightly as people applaud. Of course, they might have been exaggerating for effect, or they might actually be suffering from a mental illness that causes them to believe they are possessed by demons. Additionally, it's conceivable that Bob Larson has employed professional actors to portray himself as an exorcist when he is not. They were vulnerable to possession, though it can be very challenging to determine whether or not something is true. Number 3, Pope Francis. This serves as tangible proof of demonic possession for many people. Pope Francis is in St. Peter's Square in Rome praying for the sick when he touches a man who seems to be in great distress. Pope Francis himself was not aware that he was about to perform an exorcism in front of the assembled people. Angel is a 47-year-old Mexican father of 2 who is disabled. Angel asserts that he has been possessed by evil spirits since 1999. 10 exorcists have attempted to free him from his demons, but despite each of them performing at least 30 different rituals, none of them have been successful to date. When Pope Francis touches him and prays over him, this is what happens. If you look closely, you can see the demon boiling under Angel's skin as his face contorts in agony. Angel becomes more uneasy the longer the Pope holds him. However, as soon as the Pope releases him, Angel immediately becomes at ease. Is it more likely that a demon is escaping his body or that his imagination is playing tricks on him? Whatever transpired between them doesn't seem to have been sufficient to address all of Angel's problems. It appears that the unfortunate man is still suffering from whatever evil spirits he previously encountered. Some claim that this video disproves both religion and the existence of demons, and that Angel is simply crazy rather than possessed. Some contend that this demonstrates how risky the spirit world actually is. Angel will have to spend the rest of his life with his demons if this possession is real. Who else can assist you in getting rid of them if not the Pope? Number 2, world possession. This footage, which was created in the 1970s, allegedly came from an attic and was discovered by a person in Iowa. We're only able to show you a portion of this video because the rest is too upsetting for public consumption. A character approaches a possessive person who is lying in bed at the beginning of the video. The person is very thin, still, breathing heavily, and looking directly ahead. A nearby door opens unexplainably and abruptly. We have to keep this part a secret, but it looks like the person is stooping and slowly tearing their fingernails off. Nail refers to the entire thing. The scene ends when the man lifts his eyes to the camera. The same monster is seen in the following image, sitting bolt upright in bed, grinning devilishly and appearing to revel in its own suffering. The body on the bed thrashes around and screams incoherently before acting in an unexpected way. It repeatedly slits its neck and lips with a razor, bleeding horribly as it does so. I am unable to show this moment here, despite the fact that it takes up a significant amount of the video. Blood is dripping from the demon-possessed man's pointed fangs as he splits his lips and looks directly into the camera. In the final scene, he starts hacking at its throat. As things stand, it is obvious that he would not have survived. I hope this is just a camera and lighting trick. If true, it makes for a pretty compelling argument. Number 1. The laughing victim. This man was shot in the face wherever it was in Brazil that it occurred. The gunshot victim got to his feet and started laughing uncontrollably, and a hospital employee started filming. I've never seen anyone react like this after being shot. Perhaps they are possessed. Perhaps they are simply anxious. After pausing briefly in his laughter, he starts to shout loudly as he moves backward. Again, I've never seen anyone move like that, and his muscles are very stiff. This man seems ready to fight despite having been shot in the face and bleeding heavily. You will only hear growls and threats from him. No amount of reasoned argument will persuade him. It appears that they are holding something in front of him to stop him from attacking. This object could be a walker or another piece of medical gear. As he reveals the cause of his rage, the doctor's eyes widen and he appears to be looking for an explanation. He speaks the word Lucifer. He claims that at that precise moment, the Prince of Darkness took possession of him. Please let me know in the comments section below if anyone else can make sense of the remaining statements he makes. I want to understand what he's saying as much as I can. Probably drugged up and on adrenaline if it wasn't a possession. The man, I've never seen anyone lean back that far after receiving a head injury, though, without falling over. If he is injured and drunk, he probably shouldn't be able to do that. I'm asking you for clarification once more about a potential possession that seems to have some merit. This is it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care.